Okay, and hello, and welcome to the Virtual Cafe. I'm your host, Segilola Salami. How can I help you today, or who's next today?
Hello. I would like
Yeah.
I would like a black coffee, please.
Oh, yes. Black coffee, no sugar, no milk.
That's it. Got
Yes.
it. Fine.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And what else would you like for your drink today?
No, that'll do. Thank you.
Cool, cool, cool. Are you in London today? Because where I
Yeah.
am, in my nice little village in Hithergreen, we like to call this a nice little village, the sun is out and it seems like a very lovely day today.
Good. Well, it's okay in London. Yes.
Cool. Actually, so the little human, she's turned 2 now, so she's not particularly very cooperative in getting orders and whatnot. So you probably hear her lamenting. You're going to hear her lamenting the hard work I'm putting her through. That's cool. Actually, it's actually a good thing that you're here because there was a question I wanted to ask you from the other time after you had to leave. Quickly. So you remember that I think it was like not the last time you were here, no, I don't think you were here last year. Just the 2 weeks ago that we had the lady from America who was working for the Department of Social Security, and it was something she said which I thought was actually quite interesting, and I wondered what if it was similar in the UK the way it was in the US. And if I remember what she said correctly, I think she said something that in the Maryland, Washington, that sort of area, that if say there was ever an emergency, if there was ever an emergency and parents were either normal or incapacitated in one way or the other, that people that could step up are usually relatives by blood, marriage, or so blood or marriage. And then she said that family, friends, they can step up. They don't need like or they had a piece of paper where the parents' desires had been written up. They could easily take in the child rather than the child being put into foster care. Because what Felicia was saying in her book was that Olivia, who is the main character, had to go into foster care because even though her family friends were willing to take her in, the rules in that state where Olivia was in did not allow for that. So how is that in the UK?
Well, children obviously do get fostered in the UK, and they can be fostered for all sorts of reasons. But basically, it's because there's obviously some kind of problem in the background that there isn't the parents aren't around, or the parents are unable for whatever reason to cope, or there's been family breakup. There can be a myriad of reasons, and children can be in foster care either for very short periods of time or very often for quite long periods of time. I'll come across cases where children have been with foster placements for many years. Many foster placements are very successful, and lots of children form very strong bonds with their foster parents. On the other side of the coin, you do come across cases where it hasn't worked, and there have been, considerable problems.
Yeah. Yeah, but what I'm asking though is that before a child, let's say for instance, right, worst case scenario, both parents they just die, or maybe in a car accident, whatever, they both die, and then a child is left. So before, if there was a blood relative that was say two cousins removed, so not like a brother or a sister or a parent or grandparent, let's say it was like two cousins removed, and that cousin was willing to take in the child, would the government allow that, or would they still insist?
Overseas would allow that if they felt that was the right thing for that child or for the children. So it's what's in the best interest of the child or the children. That's the determining in factor. So if it was considered that the child or the children should live with a cousin or aunt or uncle or some other relative, and it was thought that, you know, that was the right thing, then that would be allowed. If social
Right.
services thought that that was not appropriate, then that would not be allowed, and would, you know, certainly be challenged by them if there was a dispute over where the child should live.
Right. Okay.
And of course,
So is
ultimately,
yeah,
if
go.
there's a real dispute, then a court would have to decide where the child resided.
Right. Okay. But was it worth? Because I think again in that episode, what they were saying, was that it might be worth for a parent to say, okay, if anything should happen to me, almost like a living will. But I know that here, living will is more to do with healthcare. But just
No,
for argument's sake,
yeah, parents do stipulate in wills, in the event that I die, then I would want my child to live with a particular person, and
right.
that wish has to be respected. But of course, nothing's absolute in life, and if there was a concern that that provision in the will was not appropriate or no longer able to be fulfilled, then other decisions would have to be made. You know, if a lot of time had passed between the parent stipulating in their will what they wanted to happen, and circumstances were now very different, then it might mean that the child has to live somewhere else. But no, generally parents can stipulate where they would want the child to live in the event that, they were unfortunately, died or got killed in an accident.
Right, okay. But then is it okay to also do something informally? So rather than, again, maybe sometimes people would think, they don't have lots of property. So they might just say to their friend, okay, so, are you willing to step up, if God forbid, something should happen, and the friend says, yeah, sure. So if they don't have something formally written down, would that still be okay? Or do they need to go and get something written up and notarized?
Well, it all comes back down to what then happens when, some tragedy strikes. Decisions would have to be made as to what was best for that child. If it was thought that, the best interests of the child were to live with a certain person, then maybe that's the decision that's made. But it would, I imagine, I haven't actually come across this in practice. I imagine that services would take great care in investigating, make sure that was the right thing to do.
Right. Okay. Okay. No, that's good. That was what I was wondering, because in America they have all the different states and all the different rules, and I was like, oh well, how does it apply to the UK? Okay. No, that's fine. And then so we've talked so much, right? And just so, because my friend the other day was saying to me that I've been using baby brain so much that even baby brain would be ashamed that I've been using it. But then again, I've heard I can take baby brain till my little girl is 21 years old. So you will forgive me, because I'm using baby brain too much. So first time we talked about how to identify a child who's been abused, and I think you mentioned that you would see a change in behavior, maybe withdrawals, but there will be some sort of change in behavior. And how to get justice for a child. Again, you said it would then be what is in the best interest of the child, what the child would feel would give them the best resolution. To them. Sometimes it's just having an acknowledgement, but it's about speaking to that child and seeing what they feel is in their best interest. And then last week we talked about, yes, baby. And then last week we talked about we talked about the first stage in the 5 stages of grief, and what Felicia was saying, with regards to her character in her book was, denial. That a lot of times people do deny. Maybe they don't accept. I mean, I know acceptance is the last stage, but they deny, or they try to, sort of shut out what has happened to them. I mean, in your professional capacity, have you come across someone who is then, not only having denial, but then they're in the next stage, which I think is anger. And then how does that reflect, because I know that you do a more holistic approach in the way you provide support to children and families. So how do you see, anger and, manifest themselves, or, in children?
Well, by and large, I see adults who've been abused as children. That's what we normally, what I normally see, and yeah, everyone's different.
Yes.
People can be very distressed. Some people very angry. They're angry with the authorities for letting them down. They can be angry with family members. They can be angry sometimes with themselves because they have guilt. They feel somehow responsible for what happened, and of course they're not responsible. But it's a very natural feeling for a survivor to have.
Yes.
With younger people, again, yes, you can sometimes see anger, and again, it's with those who they felt were in a position to step in and save them from what was happening. So
Yeah.
anger is a very natural emotion, and it doesn't surprise me. When it is when people are angry about what they've experienced and how they perceive it. But everyone's different. There's no one person is the same as another. Um, so I have to be careful not to generalize.
Of course, of course, of course. Okay, so at the risk of generalizing, and I guess I have to try and choose my words carefully. Sometimes, okay, so sometimes, I'm emphasizing sometimes, not all the time, not applicable to everyone, but sometimes you hear that if you trace back down the life of bullies, right, you would find that they in turn are being bullied, right? E.g. at home. So maybe, for instance, a child who might be beating up other children in school, you may find that that child, may either be beaten at home, or you might be witnessing someone beating up his mom, or there is usually that, sort of something that's going on in the background. And especially, I think, if you listen in the news, or in movies or stuff where someone has gone on to commit a crime, then when the lawyers are doing their defense, they might then go and say, well, there is a bit of a mental problem associated with it, and that's why they might say, oh, let's not send this person to jail, let's send this person to a mental institution that can then help the person get treatment. So would you say that because of possibly whatever has happened to that person in their life, in their past, maybe they've been subject to abuse, and at the stage of the grief that they're in is anger, that they're now taking it out on other people, then does that make sense? Like this nice convoluted loop of everything that's going on with with that person.
Well, as I said, everyone is different, and abuse of children, as we discussed, can happen in any kind of situation, in any part of society, in all sorts of different circumstances, and how that child is affected varies from child to child, and as they develop into adults, um, again can be very enormously. Some survivors are able to go through life without experiencing outward symptoms, as it were. Other people have really profound problems, and it can affect relationships with partners, their own children. It can affect ability to hold down work. It can affect relationships with work colleagues and so on. So yes, to sort of answer your question, you sometimes get cases where the survivor does behave in a particular way towards loved ones. Relationships can be affected. Some survivors find
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Hi.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
sorry, you cut off for a second. So you said some survivors, and then the line sort of just went
Oh, right. Okay. So some
off.
survivors can go through life relatively symptom free, if I can put it like that, whereas others can have real problems. Difficulties in relationships, difficulties forming relationships, in relationships having difficulties. Some survivors find it difficult to form intimate relationships or hold down an intimate relationship. So, to answer your question, yes, relationships in adult life can be affected in many different ways.
Yeah. Okay. So, for instance, let's say you came across someone who was manifesting, anger issues, and for instance, let's say they've acted out and then they've committed a crime. Um, how do you then proceed? So let's say you're maybe someone's, let's say you're being called on to defend somebody, and the person has committed a crime, and when you're having a conversation, your instincts, or your experience tells you that, oh, possibly this person seems to be having anger management issues. When do you, like, how would you approach your professional work, for that person?
Well, it's when I represent survivors of abuse,
Hmm.
and I see it as part of my point out options to the survivor. So, for example, if they are, for example, having particular difficulties, where they may be able to go and get that kind of help, but the help
Hmm.
they need.
Okay. So, what sort of recommendations, like uh, what sort of support is there in the UK
Well,
that from your
there's
legal?
varied support. There's survivor networks, there's survivor organisations, there's groups of survivors where they can give mutual support and access therapy and counselling. Um, yeah, you know, um, as I said, the survivor networks are very important because um, of their very existence and the fact that there are survivors there who can help other survivors and provide the strength and support that sometimes is so crucial and necessary.
Yeah.
Sometimes be medical, I might say, well, you need to go and see your general practitioner and get some advice.
Yeah. Okay, okay, that no, that definitely makes it. I think it's because sometimes some people might just be acting out and they don't really know why they're acting. I mean, I guess most females, when it's that time of the month and we're all acting crazy, and then everybody else has to just take cover and be like, you know what, you're just being your crazy self. We will just ignore you. But then so I guess it's sort of trying to find that balance, and sort of trying to, like you've always said, what is in the best interest of the child or the survivor, and finding an approach that works specifically for that person.
That's right. Anyway,
Yes.
been lovely to talk to you. If time's up and I have got to run, darling.
Yes, no, definitely.
Okay,
Thank you for
take
stopping
care.
by.
Thanks for me always. Thanks for coffee and take care. Bye.
Yes. All right then, bye now. Hello, Felicia.
Good morning. I am so sorry I'm late.
No, that's fine. You snuck in very quiet. I was like, "Ooh, someone's joined us. Someone's joined us. How are you today? Oh, and happy Thanksgiving."
Thank you. Thank you. We've had a good holiday weekend so far, but once again, I have my 2-year-old grandnephew, Jordan, and he woke up sick this morning. So that's
Oh
why I was
dear.
late. Yeah.
Oh dear.
We're
What
gonna,
was wrong with him? Too much food?
no, he's had a little flu bug for the last few days, and he had a fever this morning and he was fussy.
Oh, send him lots of big hugs from us.
I sure will. Thank you.
Yes, but how is he feeling now?
He's resting now with my husband and with his adult cousins, so he's getting lots of love and cuddles.
Oh, cuddles treat a lot of things. Cuddles make everything feel nice as rain.
Yes, yes.
Oh, cool. So, what's been happening with you? I mean, I think you got the back end, with Alan. Oh my God, attorneys and lawyers and all the funky titles they have. They're always busy. He was able to just squeeze us in again. Have a quick chat and then zoom off again.
Exactly, exactly. But unfortunately, we need that aspect of it to
Hmm.
complete the situation. I mean, if there's no legal ramifications, there's not going to be any acceptance, any justice.
Yes.
People will suffer endlessly.
Yes, no, no, definitely. Okay, so tell us, how did Olivia manifest, anger issues? Did she manifest any anger issues in your book?
The only anger that Olivia manifests in the book is when someone is trying to hurt a child.
Hmm.
And her problem was with her client Rena. There was a conspiracy going on to put Rena into foster care purely for financial gain.
Really?
Yes.
How do you put someone in foster care just for financial gain? Who's
Her biological grandfather and
right?
his attorney.
Hmm. Oh, right. So, but then was he a registered foster carer?
No, he wanted nothing to do with her because his daughter-in-law was African American.
Hmm.
And this is the story that he uses. You have to read the book to get all the little details, but that's the reason that he uses. I'll put it out there like that.
Okay. So is he Caucasian then?
Yes.
Ah, right. Okay. It makes sense. So he doesn't want anything to do with her because of that. Okay. Now that's fine. But I mean, sort of anger with regards to what happened to Olivia. Did she sort of, because I know that last week, you said she had a bit of denial. Did she ever proceed to anger, or did she just skip that part? In her own personal, journey.
She has never gotten to anger yet. That's what's going to happen in book 2, hopefully. But she has never manifested her own anger about her own situation.
Right. So you're gonna give us some tips then on what we can expect from the next book.
My lips are sealed.
Come on, come on, come on. At least we should have some special privileges. We've been at this 4 weeks now. Come on.
Let's just Olivia is just as upset with herself as she is with the other party.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that. So remind us again. When is the new book? Is the second book coming out?
It's gonna be about January 15th. We were
Okay.
going to release it in December, but there's just so many holiday books and events right now. We didn't want it to get lost in the shuffle, so come out in
Yes.
2017.
Okay. No, that sounds like a good time. Because then people would have gotten through the holiday fever, and they're like, okay, let's find something to read, on the commute to work.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. So when you were doing your research, for this, the second book, what did you come up? What did you discover about anger manifestation? As one of the stages of grief.
As one of the stages of grief, it can be, how do I say it? You can harm yourself because of your anger.
Yeah.
And not physically so much. I don't mean physically harming, but you can hurt your own situation because of your own anger, because of the way you release it.
Yeah. Okay, so can you explain a bit more?
Because you're not rational. You've held it in for so long. You've denied it for so long, and once that anger manifests itself, you're not listening to reason, and you're not acting in a logical manner, and you may harm your situation, you may miss a step, you may push away people who care about you, that
Yeah.
are able to support you through your issues. And
Yeah.
so you can harm yourself if you don't manage your anger appropriately.
Yeah. But then how is, the anger from grief different to, say, someone who's just PMSing and just being, in a foul mood?
I think more so with the grief is that you're looking for someone or something to blame.
Right.
Someone has upset you, or it's someone's fault that you've been hurt, and you want to place blame on a particular person or situation.
Right. Okay. Okay. So then, random thought that's in my head. You say somebody who is a bully, right? And the person
Hmm.
is a bully because the person is being abused at home. So maybe, again, this is all hypothetical situation, totally
Hmm.
hypothetical.
Hello, I lost you. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, are you back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes,
Hello?
I'm
Oh dear,
here.
she seems to
I'm
get
here.
drunk. I can, I don't think the problem
I
is from me.
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you before.
Felicia?
Yes. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I think it's her connection. She's dropped. Well, so it's just me now. Well, hopefully her connection's going to come back again. And the little human, she's there. She's just putting the floor in the virtual cafe. So that just means I have a lot of work to do when I finish. The joys of motherhood. Thank you, darling. I wonder if Felicia is. Yes, darling. Are you going to say hello to everyone? Closer, darling. Come closer, and we're going to just chat with everybody. Say hello. Yes. No what? No what? No what? No what?
Hello.
You want to put it in your
Hello.
nose?
Hello.
Ew, that's disgusting. It's boogie in your nose. Ugh.
Hello.
Yuck.
Hello.
Yes, it's yucky. There's boogie in
Hello.
your nose. Yeah,
Segilola.
yucky.
Hello.
Yes, yucky. Yes, yucky. Yes, yucky. Are you gonna say hello again?
Hello.
Yes, nose. So let's see if we can practice our alphabets while we're waiting for Felicia to come back. So I can see her, but I don't think she can hear me.
I can hear
Right. So
you.
A is for what? Yes, good girl. And B is for? C is for? D is for? E is for? You are very smart, babies. Okay, people, can you hear? This is my newly 2-year-old, and she's saying her alphabets. Okay, let's see. F is for? G is for? H is for? Huh? Yes. I is for? Ice cream. See, we love ice cream. We love ice cream so much. And J is for? All done. Yes, J is for juice. K is for? Yes, K is for kite. I'm not really sure why we can't hear Felicia. She's here, but nothing is coming through. Felicia, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
She can't seem to hear me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that will be the end then. It's a virtual cafe, and sometimes connections can let you down. I hope you found this episode to be useful. Felicia, you can just drop her a line. Felicia, I think she's on Twitter as Miss Felicia Denise, something like that. And Alan, he's lawyer, barrister, I'm not sure what the official term is. And he works for Hugh James, which is a law firm in the UK. And of course, you know how to connect with me. I'm always on Twitter at Segilola Salami or Facebook at Segilola Salami. So I hope I will chat again with you next week. Oh, that's just disgusting. Go and put it in the bin. Someone is showing me lots of boogie. Oh, yucky. Yes, please put it in the bin. Bin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you again next week on the Segilola Salami Show. Bye now.